What happens when you die without a will? Chaos, pain, family betrayal, and I know this because I lived it. I'm going to tell you about a hard lesson I learned about estate planning so you don't have to. Today actually marks 20 years since my mother passed away. I was just 10 years old. She was a single mother, doing her best. Some months we didn't have running water. One Christmas we would have had nothing if it weren't for the kindness of strangers. But when she died, things went from bad to worse. She had no will, so family fought over everything, including us, her kids. We were technically kidnapped from her wake. We never got to attend her funeral, and some of our family members were arrested at the funeral. It was a disaster, and it should have never happened. This episode is not just about money, it's about protecting your family from chaos, whether you're a single parent struggling or a multimillionaire building a legacy. This episode is for you. This is a wealth planning podcast with Brister Law. I'm your host, Anthony Brister. Let's dive in. So, what's the biggest lie about estate planning? Well, it's I don't have much, so I don't need a will or an estate plan. That's just plain and simply wrong. My mother didn't have much either, no assets, and we still ended up in a nightmare. This isn't just about how much you have, it's about who you leave behind, and it's very simple. If you don't make a plan, the government makes one for you. And trust me, you won't like it. So parents, listen up. Who gets your kids if, God forbid, something happens to you? If you don't name a guardian, a judge decides who gets to raise your kids. Not your mom, not your best friend, not the person you trust. A judge who has never met you or your children will get to decide what's in their best interest. And once a court is involved, family members will fight over them. It happens all the time, and the solutions are very, very simple. Make a will, name a guardian, and protect your kids. So let's talk about what happens if you die without a will. If you don't have a plan, like I said, the government gets to decide who gets your assets. You'll go through the intestate process through probate. I've seen clients that forgot to update beneficiaries and their ex-wife got everything. Your estranged sibling might take control over your assets. Your kids might not get anything until they're 18. Dying without a will equals letting the court take over. Do not let the court decide what happens to your kids or your assets. So let me tell you about a low-cost option, the $0 will that could save your family. Did you know that you can write a legal will for free? At least here in Texas, we have what's called a holographic will. All you need to do is handwrite it, sign. You don't need witnesses or notary, but not all states allow this, so check your state laws. A holographic will is better than nothing, but for real protection, I do recommend talking to a professional. But for you single parents or those of you who are struggling to make ends meet, please, at the very minimum, go write a holographic will. Decide who's going to raise your children, and if God forbid something ever happened to you, you've got that protected. If my mom did this, we could have avoided a lot of traumatizing experiences. However, a will isn't the end-all be-all when it comes to estate planning. There are other documents you should have too, like your power of attorneys. If you're unconscious, who's going to make those medical or financial decisions? And have you thought about that? Think about a car accident, a medical emergency. Who's going to make the medical decisions for you? If you don't have a medical power of attorney, doctors might not listen to your spouse, your parents, or your siblings. They might start fighting between themselves. The simple document can avoid all of that. So go get a medical power of attorney done today. The next power of attorney that we have is the financial or durable power of attorney. This one can save families thousands of dollars. Durable power of attorney, what it does is it lets someone handle your finances if you're unable to make those decisions for you. Without this document, your family might need to get a court order just to pay your mortgage, access your bank accounts, or run your business. Guess what though? That might take thousands of dollars and months just to get through the court process. So make sure to get a durable power of attorney too before you need it. Let's talk about probate real quick too. I think it's important. So let's break it down. What is probate? Probate's a court process that happens when someone dies with or without a will. If you have a will, the court reviews it, approves it, and then oversees how all of your assets will get distributed. And if you have minor kids too, the guardian. If you don't have the will, the court gets to decide who gets what based off of state law. So why is probate bad? Well, it's slow. It can take 6 months to 2 years. I've even had clients in probate for 10 years. It's expensive. There's court costs, attorney costs. It's thousands of dollars. It's in the public record, so anyone can see who got what and even contest it. It freezes your assets, so your family can't touch anything until your court gives permission to. Finally, let's talk about how do you avoid probate and why I think you should. So do you want your family to wait for a year to spend thousands just to access what's already theirs? Probate's slow, it can be expensive, and it's public, but it's all avoidable, and you can skip it with a revocable living trust. And here's why a trust is better. There's no court involvement. It's 100% private, and it's faster to access the assets. A will is a public record. A trust keeps everything private and easy. Other ways you can avoid probate for specific types of assets are transfer on death accounts like retirement accounts, insurance, some bank accounts too. Just make sure to update your beneficiary, or setting up joint ownership. Some property can transfer automatically to co-owners. A will is good, but a trust is better. A will or without a will means you've got probate, delays, and legal fees. A trust means privacy, speed, and control. If you own a house, get a trust. If you've got kids, get a trust. If you want to make things easy, get a trust. Another myth that I hear all the time, and really a problem, is my family loves each other. They'll sort things out between themselves when I'm gone. I don't really need to worry about it. Your family, you think your family won't fight, but think again. Family will fight. When it comes to property, money, and sentimental items, people lose their mind. A well-documented estate plan prevents family drama before it even starts. You make that decision. Protect your legacy, avoid family wars, and make a plan today. Go schedule a consult at bristertaxlaw.com if you don't have that estate plan. It's very important to have this, make that decision so your family isn't fighting and trying to figure things out after you're gone. Another big myth about estate planning is thinking that you're too young for an estate plan. Like I said, today marks 20 years since my mom passed away. I'm older today than what my mom was when she passed away. Think about it. What if something happens to you next week? A car accident? Let me say this very, very clearly. Estate planning isn't just for old people. Accidents happen every day. Get your plan in place while you're healthy, and it's not too late. So let's wrap this up. Here's your estate planning checklist. No excuses. First up, if you don't have anything in place, go look up your state law on holographic wills. Write a simple will today and get it done, and then maybe go see a professional. Go get your medical and financial power of attorneys. If you have minor children, make sure to name a guardian for your kids. And then if you can afford it, go get a trust, skip probate. It's going to save you in the long run anyways. So go book a consultation for estate planning today at bristertaxlaw.com. If this helped you, please share it with someone who needs to hear this. I hope my personal story resonated with you. And please don't just sit on this. Take action. Go get your estate plan done today. This is a wealth planning podcast with Brister Law. I'm Anthony Brister. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.